You probably have been wondering how this idea came up about going into an independent living facility and when it occurred and why it occurred. So I'm going to tell you about that. Now, normally I look at myself, I think I'm a perfectly normal guy and I look fine, maybe like Gregory Peck here. But then when I look in the mirror in the morning to shave, I get a slightly different picture. And I realized that, gee, I'm getting old, and we ought to do something about that. And then there's the house. Now, we had 5 bedrooms in this house and 2.5 baths, and there's always something going wrong, be it the sump pump in the basement, then, of course, the lawn has to be mowed. There's a huge garden. Yuta enjoys the garden a lot, but it has to be taken care of, and we're getting into an age where bending down is getting to be a bit of a problem, and then there has to be snow removal. So there's always something, and not even speaking of repairs, which is a normal part of the deal. Now we looked into adult living. You could call it an old folks home, but that's not very polite. So here we are using the term independent living facility. With independent living, you would imagine that all the people living here are very well off and they're mobile and they can move around very easily and they have no problems. But that would be a problem too. That's not quite right. But anyway, we came along this road, this Grooms Road, and we came to this sign, Coburg Village Way. And Coburg Village Way is the entrance to the facility. It's called Coburg Village, and it's run by the um, Lutheran religious organization, which kind of scared us a little bit because we thought, oh God, my God, they're going to go after us about church and all that kind of stuff. But it really didn't turn out that way at all. They were very nice about it, and they've never bothered us whether we go to church or not. It doesn't concern them, it seems. Now, we noticed that there was something under construction, and actually the facility had been around for about 15 years, but they're adding about 60 or 76 apartments to it in a new wing. And this was the construction site, and you can see these are the elevators going up first, and then they're building the actual wing, and you can see the way it's going to be built is it's one long stretch of buildings and one big complex. There are 3 stories to it, and this is what it looks like today. And where you see that red arrow is where we live. We live on the second floor, very close to the elevator, which makes it possible for us to go down, and then we have to walk quite a distance to the dining facility. Now, this is our garage under construction. You can see the little building on the left. That's our garage, and this is what it looks like today. Now, you can still see our car in there. And when you come into the facility, the first thing you see is this little roof where the cars will pull in so that people can get out without getting wet. And then there are automatic doors that open up and let you come in. And when you come in, the first thing that you see is the stairway that leads up to the main dining room. And down there is the lobby. And everywhere you find little seating areas. This particular one has a fireplace, and this is another one. This is called the living room. It has a fireplace as well and a lot of seating. And even on the way to the bistro, you come by a little seating area. So it's very well laid out and it's very convenient. And this is our little library, and the library contains books that are no older than the year 2000 because they don't have enough room for it. And of course, an auditorium. And this auditorium, they show us movies and they have performances and they bring in different acts. Amazing what they come up with. I mean, be it concerts or now even the residents are going to put on a show. So, and there's Tai Chi that's being performed, and all of that is for free. And the movies are quite recent. And this here is the formal dining room upstairs. We even have a dress code. Mind you, it's not terribly severe, but of course it means no caps, and baseball caps especially, and no distressed jeans. You can wear jeans, but not distressed ones. You know, the ones with holes in them that are more expensive nowadays. But the servers are something else. This particular one, Yuta is standing here next to a server, and the girl is fabulous. She is fast. She is very efficient. She runs the dining room, and there are about, oh, I would say 20 or 30 servers. Most of them are students, some of them high school, some of them even college students, and they work there during their holidays and in their time off in the evenings. But very polite, always call us by last name, which is something unusual for this country. Mostly people are being addressed by first name. Among ourselves, we call each other by first name, but the servants are always calling us by our last name. But when you come out of the dining room during the time when they are dining, you get a bit of a shock because you see all these walkers and you realize that you're really not in a hotel or in a fancy restaurant. Now this is the bistro. This is another facility where we can eat. We are being served here too, but you can go in and get your own salad in the salad bar. But other than that, you are being served, and the meal is the same as in the main dining room. And then we have the outside in the summertime. We can eat outside, and that's very nice. It's almost like in Paris, and you have these little umbrellas for the sun, and it makes for a very nice ambiance. Now, this is a third eating facility. This is the cafeteria. This is where you have to serve yourself. You go into the cafeteria and you pick up your meals, but the servers are there to take away the plates, and they also give you something to drink. So it isn't entirely bare of all the services. And this is our little computer room. On the very left, you see a computer that is set up with the operating system 7, Windows 7, and the other two are operating system XP. They will have to change that pretty soon because XP is no longer being serviced. In addition to the apartments, we also have these little bungalows, or they call them cottages. They are, it's like there's two families for each of the cottages. You can see the garages on the left and on the right, and these are two parties in there. Very roomy, fireplace, and very cozy and very nice. Here's another view of a cottage, and you can see a little lake on the right-hand side, and every once in a while there's a heron coming in, flying into this facility, and he's sitting there on one of the poles, and we can watch him. And on the left side you see garages. There are garages all over the place. Now this is the older part of the facility, and you can see they have a little lake in front of as well. And this is what it looks like in the winter time. It's quite attractive. Here are a few words about the automobiles. The cars that you see are not the resident cars. The residents park in the back or in the garages. These are for visitors only. But it's not taken that seriously. Of course, there's some of the residents are sneaking in here too. By far the most common vehicle around here is the walker. It comes in very many different models, with a basket, without a basket, with a seat, without a seat, you name it, and it's quite interesting to watch them. When you graduate, you get into a wheelchair. Now, the wheelchairs come first without a motor, and then it comes like this with an electric motor. And I guess if you really wanted to go all out, you could have this vehicle, but I haven't seen one of those around yet. And when my time comes, this is what I would like. This is the Sagway. The Sagway is electric, and it's being moved forward by leaning forward and back by leaning back. And it's a very snazzy vehicle. Now this is the view from our apartment. You can see there's a lawn with a flagpole and a flag, and then in the back you can see the older part of the facility. And we even have garden plots. You have to apply for one and be on the waiting list, but we do have one. There's Jutta with our daughter Dagmar, and they're admiring one of the plots. It's not ours, but it's a friend of ours who owns this one. And in the back you see the water supply. It's being pumped in, and you have a hose, and then you can water your plants. We also have a swimming pool, and there is an instructor coming in 3 times a week for about an hour, and she gives water aerobics. It's quite strenuous, I understand. We haven't done it yet, but we should be doing it. But you need rubber shoes because it's kind of slippery on the ground, and you don't want to fall. And then we have a gym. It's not very big, but we have a few treadmills and weightlifting, and this machine on the right is quite versatile. You can do all sorts of things with it. And then we have bikes. So we're in a position to do some exercising. Again, something we've been dragging our feet a little bit. And of course there's a chapel as well. And then there is a garden, winter garden, where during the winter time you can bring your plants in, you can take care of them yourself, and they provide you with soil and with tools so that you really don't have to bring anything. You just leave your plant there for the winter. And this is even a little country store. In case you run out of something in a hurry, you need something, you need cards to send out. They have congratulation cards and, of course, condolence cards and that sort of thing. And this is a craft room where the women can do some craft work. They can do some knitting and some sewing, and that's very popular. They sew things that are being sold at a rummage sale once a year and make a little money. And this is the art room. And in the art room, people who are talented and do some painting can come in and work. And Jutta is very, very talented in that area, and she has lots of her paintings exhibited in the facility. This is in a hallway and in the rotunda. We also have a bocce court, and in the back you see a little putting green. And on the left-hand side you see that winter garden from the outside. And even where the elevators are, there are little seating areas, and that comes in very handy. Now, this is kind of fun because we swore we would never have an artificial tree in our place. But, when you have a relatively small apartment, it's not really that small, but it's a 1-bedroom and a den and a kitchen and 2 bathrooms, so it really isn't that bad. But anyway, we didn't want to bring a live tree in there, so we decided on an artificial tree. And this is not even a tree, it's a treelet, and Jutta's making fun of it. But for this apartment, it's perfect. And this is our kitchen, considering that we get our meals in the evening and don't actually have to cook. We only provide breakfast and lunch. That's quite elaborate and certainly more than adequate. And this is part of our living room, the one side where we have the couch, and the couch is convertible into a bed in case we have guests. And you see the big window facing out into the yard, and a bridge table put up for jigsaw puzzles. And this is the other side of the living room, paintings on the wall or pictures on the wall, and 2 comfortable chairs. And you can sneak a look into the bedroom on the right-hand side there. And once in a while there's a party going on, and people are invited and getting to know each other. and there are drinks being served and little snacks. And once in a while, once a year, the facility puts on a heck of a show. They're putting up these big tents. It takes forever to do it, and it's a very expensive proposition because the actual event only takes place for 3 hours. But they have all sorts of interesting things going on. This is a picture of the inside of the tent, and you can see there's a lot of people there. And there's a magician that gives a performance. There are clowns. This particular one is one of the residents dressed up as a clown. And then there are games for the kids, and there are animals, and it really makes for a very interesting show. And at the end, I want to show you a picture of a sunset. It's really sensational, and all in all, you can detect that we're quite happy in this facility. We have gotten used to it very well. There's about 300 some odd people, and we are getting to know a lot of them. Many of them have become friends, and we feel we are quite a bit of a part of this organization. Anyway, this is what I wanted to show you, and maybe you'll have fun looking at it, and you think we're not that badly off.